I'm John, and tonight I want answers about the Super Bowl and the primary elections. There's no stopping us now because we're live.
John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers. Give John answers. John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers now.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. Court is now in session.
They were all sitting down. None of them stood up for you.
No, there's a standing ovation. You can't tell because of bright lights, but I can hear the standing ovation. Check your calendar. If it says February 11th, 2016, then we're live. It's February. People say February, but it's February, where I come from. My first witness tonight is Keith Stattenfield. He's the host of Keith Explains, another program on this station, KMVT.
Yes.
If you're watching this in Colorado Springs,
Keith Explains.
there's no Keith Explains on that.
Although they
station.
could be watching this on a web, and have Keith Explains on another web.
You're on the web, yeah.
Yeah.
You're my guest tonight, my
Yes.
expert witness, because you're a news junkie,
Yes.
history buff,
And
what are you
nobody
today?
else will come on your show
No
anymore.
one else was available.
Yeah.
Yes. If you've never seen the show before, this show's like a courtroom drama. I'm the prosecutor, my guest is the expert witness, and you and the jury, you in the audience, are the jury. It's your job to convict or acquit the topics, so don't shake your civic duties. I've
been making a list of all the ways this is not a courtroom drama.
Yes.
You've never sworn the jury in. That means
They have to
none
be
of this
sworn in?
is official.
No, the witnesses have to be sworn in. Do the
No,
jury
you got
have
to swear a jury in too.
to tell the truth? They're not.
No. They have to
testifying.
swear to uphold their duty as jurors.
Uphold your duty as jurors.
That's not how it works.
Okay. Well, that's close enough. We'll be taking your tweets. And by taking, I mean reading. You can
We're
tweet
reading
us
them,
at John Wants Answer. There's no S on the end because the S is for suck and we don't.
I don't know if you heard, but the way Twitter's going to make money is they're going to sell that extra letter.
Yeah?
They're going to charge you $5 a year if you want to be John Wants Answers.
$5 a year.
Yeah.
Can you pay more to have longer tweets too?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good business plan.
Yeah. You buy them in like packs of 10.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
See, that's why I hate Twitter. I hate Twitter. I never use Twitter. And if you hate Twitter, just like we hate Twitter, then just go to our website instead. Go to johnwantsanswer.com and you can send us a message there instead of tweeting us. And we'll read them hopefully too. We will read them.
My observation is reading the tweets is the worst part of the show every month. So yes,
The worst
we will
part?
be reading.
Well-
we will be reading your tweets and not getting to the actual topics that I've studied for.
Happened once. Well, happened last month. But normally we have no tweets, so there you go. We can't be doing this show without money. And you know where the money comes from?
It comes from gullible people. It comes from stupid, gullible people that don't know the value of a dollar.
Yeah, okay. Part of that's right. It comes, in this case, from Brain Westbefall.
Westbefall. Mr. Westbefall.
Mr. Westbefall, sir, thank you for your continued support of the arts and of the hard-hitting news.
Yeah, and of this show as well. I mean, we assume you support arts or something, but because you have money left over for this show.
The opinions stated here are my own, and not necessarily those of my company. All right. With that, let's get into the topics. Our first case, Super Bowl.
Man, the NFL has already gotten to that music guy.
Oh, here we are.
Okay.
So that's
they gave him back.
that's from the Eagles performing behind us at the stadium.
Okay.
I think
Well, not all
that's,
the Eagles.
No, that was Timothy Drury of the Eagles playing. Oh, there he is again.
Yeah.
Man, that guy doesn't know when to stop.
Well, he does know when to stop. Like halfway through.
All right, so the Super Bowl happened.
Yes, the Super Bowl.
Superb Owl happened this last weekend,
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
It was a regular Sunday. It was not super.
Yes.
And it happened near where we are right now.
Yes.
We're in Mountain View.
We
It
are in Mountain
happened
View.
in Mountain View, California, which is near us. Now,
It happened in Santa Clara, California.
sorry, I messed up. What did I say?
You said Mountain View.
We're in Mountain View. It happened in Santa Clara.
That's correct.
And now,
2 cities over.
from here? Doesn't Mountain View doesn't border Santa Clara?
No, Sunnyvale. There's Sunnyvale in the middle.
Oh, Sunnyvale. It's right in the middle.
Don't forget Sunnyvale, man.
And so Santa Clara is not near San Francisco. People think it happens in San Francisco. We have a map. Let's go to the map.
What is
And,
near San Francisco?
South San Francisco? So here we have a map. And we have a cold front coming in from the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
It's going to hit the coast and make it rainy next weekend. Your commute's going to be messed up. But here's San Francisco, way up here. And to get to Santa Clara, you got to go, take this freeway 280, all the way down here, all the way down here, up here. Now here's Cupertino.
It's harder to point on a green screen than you think, isn't it? Yeah.
Cupertino. Then you go to Mountain View. This is where we are right now. We're right about here. And then you have to way over here through Sunnyvale, and that's where Santa Clara is. Now, I mean, this looks like it's, a 3-foot drive, but this is like 50 miles. So Santa Clara, nowhere near San Francisco.
Well, it's 50 miles away from San Francisco. But they used to play in Candlestick. And Candlestick
is like
Candlestick
right
to the new stadium's 38 miles. It's 38 miles.
Wasn't it right here? Am I pointing to it? Is
Yeah.
Candlestick right about here?
But then you started your line up higher, and then for some reason you took 280. No one would take 280 on a Sunday.
Well, no, the traffic on 101 is terrible.
Not on a Sunday, it's not bad.
On Super Bowl Sunday, it's terrible.
They were all on buses. They were on big buses. They were fine. People had a lot of complaints about the Super Bowl. I didn't hear a lot of complaints about the traffic being terrible.
Really?
If you were coming to the game in a bus. You were like, I got on the bus.
Yeah.
I had some adult beverages. I got out of the bus. I watched a football game of some sort where I had more adult beverages, and then I got back on the bus.
All right. How is the Super Bowl location determined each year?
The NFL basically picks the cities about 4 or 5 years out.
What kind of criteria do they use to pick them out?
Which city they think they can make the most money by having a Super Bowl in.
Because I've heard, we just had Super Bowl, 4 days ago. I heard
Super Bowl 50.
We're already on the docket to be Super Bowl 55 or something.
Nothing's official yet, but
that's what people are saying? See, and it's different in baseball. In baseball, the winning
you never
team,
know. You never know. It's the two winning teams.
The two teams are winning. That's what they play. They don't do that in football.
No.
Why not?
I think because they can make more money by knowing where it's going to be and planning a lot of events around it. But that planning requires years of time beforehand. Also, there are 30-odd teams in the NFL, but they do not rotate among 30-odd stadiums.
Yeah,
They are never going to play another Super Bowl in Green Bay because the stadium is old and it's cold and there's not a lot to do in Green Bay, and they do not think that it would be a great draw, that people would go there, that they could make a lot of money.
I imagine people who play baseball enjoy lots of money. So why don't they do the same strategy of picking the best 6 cities or whatever it is and rotate among those?
I don't know why they don't.
Okay.
They don't. They have a system.
So the team, our local team that usually plays in the stadium behind us, they're called the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, San Francisco 49ers.
But that team is not based in San Francisco. This team is in Santa Clara, California.
No, it's been based in Santa Clara for years, for like 25 years.
Wait, really? What?
That's where their practice facility is.
Oh, but
and their stadium, right? They're at the stadium like 13 days a year.
That's all they play a year? 13?
I don't know, like 13, 14. Yeah, I'm not a football guy, people.
But clearly, this team is not associated with San Francisco anymore.
Well, San Francisco Bay Area.
In the Bay Area. So is that why they have the name?
Yeah.
San
Yeah.
Francisco?
Well, and plus, it's the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, they don't want to change their name.
I think they should.
People know who they are. Well,
Santa Clara is 49ers.
J. York at sf49ers.com. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Okay. So this is what boggled my mind. Now, this is what I heard. Hearsay.
Okay.
I heard
Wow, that's an actual legal term.
Yeah.
Used correctly on this show. It's a first, people. It's a first.
I heard 1 million people came to the area for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's insane.
Now the stadium hits like fits how many people?
It's I don't know, 80, 70, 80,000.
70 or 80,000 people. Why would a million people come to the area then?
I don't think it's true.
You don't
I mean,
think,
maybe they're counting all the people that kind of live in the area that drove over to San Francisco to look at one of the events up there, one of the days in the last month it's been there, or... No, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So that's just been, we can say that's been...
We can non-definitively say that may not be true.
Okay. So the way I understand things, you are the reason we had a Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
Because in your previous, before you got fired,
Before I got fired, asked to leave.
I was asked to leave. You were a planning commissioner for the city of Santa Clara.
That's correct. I was a appointed planning commissioner for the city of Santa Clara.
Now, did that mean you had to approve the use of this land for a stadium?
No, it did not mean I had to approve the use of
Really?
the land for a stadium.
Did they skirt around you in the committee?
The planning commission was asked to look at the environmental documents that were drawn up and the mitigation plans associated with said environmental documents, and give our opinion about whether said documents conformed with California law required by the California Environmental Quality Act, and whether the mitigations described in the mitigation report would appropriately mitigate all of the impacts that were described in the environmental documents.
This sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was fascinating. Is one. Some people have used the word fascinating to describe it. You have used the word fascinating.
Just now?
You're the one. You're the only one.
I'm the guy.
So as a planning commissioner, I read the EIR, I read the final EIR, and we had a vote, and we voted that the EIR seemed appropriate, that the mitigation seemed appropriate. We sent that on to the City Council of the City of Santa Clara.
Were there any bribes required?
No, there were no bribes.
So everything was above board?
No one tried to bribe me.
Oh. You weren't senior enough, I guess. Okay. Now, who owns the stadium?
The city owns the land.
Okay.
I believe the city owns the building, although it might legally be owned by the Stadium Authority, which is a separate entity, but Stadium Authority is controlled by the city.
Is it a private company that
No.
controls it? So it's all like...
Stadium Authority is public.
Okay.
I don't know if it's officially owned by the city or if it just happens that by the statutes that set it up, it's effectively controlled by the city.
Who paid for the stadium? Tax-paying suckers?
The Stadium
of
Authority
Santa Clara?
paid for the stadium
Okay.
by issuing bonds. And those bonds are paid off in a variety of ways. The largest part of that was the bonds were paid off when people bought personal seat licenses to get the right to buy seats, season ticket seats from the 49ers. I think that paid off about half of the overall construction cost, and there were naming rights that were sold that paid for part of it, and they're bonds, so there's income, and the income is going to pay off the bond.
As a resident of Santa Clara County, as a landowner of Santa
Yes.
Clara County, did I get screwed in any way? Am I paying for this?
No,
No.
not.
As a landowner in the city of Santa Clara, are you paying for any of this?
No.
No?
I mean, they did seem to set things up so that no general fund money is going to the stadium. Money is all fungible. No one quite knows. I mean, if we have to hire a lot of extra policemen to deal with stadium events anytime in the next 35 years, in some sense, my taxes might be higher than they would otherwise be, or I might not get other benefits that the city would accrue to me because they are spending more money than expected on stadium-related things.
So I made the wise decision to avoid the county of Santa Clara during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
What are some great things you can do on Super Bowl Sunday that are not about football?
Well, I went out for a jog.
I went out for
It's
a
not
hike.
a great thing, but it's what I did.
I went to Mount Diablo
Yes.
and I conquered Rock City.
Wow.
I climbed on top of rocks
And
and then I climbed back down them. And then I went to Costco If you want to go to Costco, well, we can't promote commercial
can't.
enterprises. If you want to go to a place, a warehouse, that is usually busy, this is one day of the year where it's not
I
so
have a
busy.
friend that went and played golf during the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Said golf course totally empty.
Totally empty.
There were like 2 other people on it.
All right. Well, we have to stop for a recess. When we come back, we are going to, on the docket next, we're going to have primaries.
Wow. Did you get like a dictionary with legal words in it?
Court adjourned.
You can't say court adjourned.
We are adjourned
No,
until...
you screwed it up. You
No, we're
screwed it up.
adjourned for like 2
we-
minutes.
We are in recess.
We're in recess. Yeah, we're in recess.
Well, that's too bad. They've all left. Court was adjourned.
Well, the only reason they're watching our show in the first place is that the remote control was broken on their TV.
Yes,
which is why they can't
or
switch
they're
away.
in prison.
Yeah. So we're doing PSAs now, but we have
Yes.
some new PSAs coming.
Wow.
I'm hoping next month.
Wow.
I'm very excited.
Because I'm getting really tired of that one with the cat.
We're getting. It's still animal based.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Canadian wildlife PSAs.
Okay.
I'm trying to get them.
So,
and if we get them,
beavers
this is
and
amazing.
moose?
So these are PSAs that played on Canadian TV in the 70s. So that the quality is terrible because you didn't have high def back then.
No. Well, they could tape them a film, though.
They did tape them in film. They did.
Okay,
You know
but you
what?
can't get the original film?
I have been in contact with the Canadian Film Board.
Wow.
And they are going to digitize the film for me. They have not been digitized before, ever before.
Really?
I came a knocking. They're digitizing it for me. So when we air it, these PSAs,
They will be
we will be the only people who have aired these high def PSAs.
in the last
Ever.
40 years.
Ever, no. Because when they aired last, they were not high def. Hey, we have a tweet. No, I don't have a tweet. Sorry.
I don't know whether to be disappointed or not. I mean, I'm torn. I'm torn between the realization that no one watches the show, but the happiness that no one tweeted us.
And then let me check our messages as well.
Okay.
I'm going to be like double
Wow.
panning it here.
Can't one device do both?
Okay, we got nothing there. Now Twitter wants to know what my phone number is. Well, I don't want to add my number. Click that. How do I look on Twitter to see if I had any tweets?
Wow, you really hate you go to the top of Twitter. Okay, that's not true. They might have changed the timeline in the 18 minutes we've been on the air.
No, I'm seeing everyone I follow is tweeting. Like I'm seeing Andy Anocto and David Pogue and Andy Anocto and John
Wait, will you
Ferris.
follow those from your John Wants Answers account?
I only have the one account. Why would I have more
But
than
you
one
never
account?
look at it, so why do you follow anyone?
Well, because they're... The only thing I see is
now
what
that
me...
I say it out loud, it sounds really smart, doesn't it?
Oh, this is Black History Month.
Yes.
So people should go and look at my old Black History
should go
Month
watch
episode.
our very,
Yeah. It's
very,
great. It's-
very, very uncomfortable.
We tried getting an African American, right? We tried.
You tried.
A university professor who studied African studies or whatever he studied. Like a legit guy.
Yes.
And then I think he saw an episode on YouTube and then suddenly couldn't make it.
Yeah. Smart
so-
man. Smart man. He's
just
like,
us.
that's not a courtroom drama. You promised me courtroom drama.
Oh, look how young you looked back then.
I did. I looked very young back then.
Okay. So we got like 30 seconds. Let's make up a tweet. Okay, what would someone tweet in?
Are we on broadcast television? You people suck. You shouldn't be on TV. You're ugly. You're stupid. Farty, make poopy pants.
That would be a YouTube comment.
No. That'd be on Twitter too. Twitter would have more numbers for letters and
Okay, we're
stuff.
coming back. Okay. And we're back, and we're going to take your tweets. So we have a tweet here. It's from Michelle O. That's all it says.
Michelle O. Wasn't
it's-
she on that medical drama?
Medical drama. Oh, you think of Sandra
With the
O.
ducks- Oh, I think it's
No,
Sandra.
no.
O.
Michelle O. And she says, you suck and you're ugly. Well, that's not a very nice thing to say.
That's very nice.
Even for...
Did she
For
say?
Sandra.
Did she say which of the two of us she was talking
Well, that's what I'm
about?
thinking. See, she didn't specify.
She should be clear. You
So-
should direct message her, assuming it's a her.
Or Michelle O. Yeah, I think it's...
Well, a lot of dudes like to troll on the internet.
or probably a dude hacked into his girlfriend's...
Michelle O's.
Probably some guy named Barack hacked into his wife's Michelle's Twitter
just
account.
keep digging.
And-
Citizenship can be revoked, you know. You're still on probation.
No, I think I've passed.
No, that's what we tell you.
Tweet in
Or don't.
to tell us who is more ugly, Keith or me. This could get very sad very quick.
I'm thinking of retiring.
This would be a great topic for
never
Keith-
for our
Keith and
second
John.
show, never.
Keith and John get it on. It could be like a
Oh.
contest. Who's ugliest?
Yeah.
I think it's all the tweets we have. So our next topic, the primaries. Wow, I can really hear good acoustics from
Good acoustics
stadium.
from the stadium.
Eagles doing a good job tonight. So there's two things called primaries and caucuses. And they essentially both just figure out who the nominee for that party is. Is that right? I mean, how are they different?
There are different ways parties have of picking who their nominees should be. And caucuses and primaries are among the methods parties have used to pick who their nominees should be. So yes, some vague sense you're correct.
But how are they different?
Primary is kind of like an election. All the people in a given party or people that are in or not in that party, depends on the state. Some states have open primaries where anyone can vote in them. Other states have closed primaries where you have to have declared before the election that you're a member of a particular party and you can and then you vote. And in a primary, you fill out a ballot or you walk into a polling place and you say, I am voting for this person.
Okay.
In a caucus, you get together, generally in your local precinct, and it's an event. So like the Iowa caucuses were at 7 o'clock on a Monday, and you showed up at your local precinct at 7 o'clock, and there might be 300 people there, and they would say, all the people that are for Bernie Sanders go stand in that corner, and all the people that are for Hillary stand in that corner, and all the people that are for Mallory,
The other guy.
you can just wait in this tiny little circle right here, as it turns out. And people kind of congregate together in these clumps, and they are trying to influence their neighbors, you should vote for Hillary.
This sounds very bizarre.
It's a little bizarre.
Right.
And they have, different places have done caucuses different ways. In Iowa, after half an hour, any candidate that doesn't have 15% support, they can't vote for that guy anymore. So if there are candidates that don't have 15%, the people that are there for them can either leave or they can go to someone else's caucus. And kind of at the end of the hour, you add up, right? And
That's how I
maybe
wish
there were
all elections worked.
40 people here for this person and 30 people here for this person, and those kind of aggregate up through the state. The caucus gets a certain number of delegates to the regional convention, and then those delegates vote for someone and they go to a state convention, and eventually the state picks delegates that go to the national convention. And these days it's almost always the case that those delegates have to vote for the people that are kind of reflective of the original votes in the caucuses or in the primaries.
None of this primary and caucus stuff is part of the Constitution, right?
Nope.
It's just stuff that the political parties have developed. Okay. So we've had two so far.
Correct.
The first one is in Iowa. The next one was in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, primary.
So Iowa was a caucus.
Yes.
Now, do both parties each, would the Democrats...
They each run their own caucuses, and they have different rules. Democrats have different rules from the Republicans.
But would it be the case that Democrats would have a primary in one state, or the Republicans would have a caucus? Or they both have caucuses, but both have primaries?
No, there are states where one party has primary and the other states have caucuses or other ways of picking.
Now, do both parties always have it on the same day?
It's almost always, I think it's always on the same day, effectively.
Okay. So they both had it in Iowa on the same day.
Yes.
Now, Iowa always seems to go first.
Yes.
Why is
Since
that?
the 70s.
Before
the 70s, the actual party conventions were a lot more responsible for picking the candidates, and people didn't like that because there was this implication that deals were being made in, the smoke-filled rooms where things happened. So there was a notion that we should democratize this, that the people should actually vote for who their candidates are, and so
so primaries
in
and
the
caucuses
60s and 70s, primaries and caucuses got a lot more open, and they got more power. And that's when Iowa became the first state that does its caucus. Just happened to be the first one that next time. And they have fiendishly held on to always being the first thing. Iowa has a law that whatever time any other state sets their caucus or primary, Iowa will move their caucus or primary a week earlier than that. So a while ago, right, it got back into early January when some other states were pushing theirs earlier.
I would just keep screwing with Iowa if I was other states. If I was California, I'd be like,
yeah, I'd be like, we're
New Year's Day, we're doing it.
2020 presidential primary is November 19th, 2016.
So every state has this. We have like 48 more of these to do.
Yeah.
Now does DC...
And the territories have.
Oh, the territories. So Puerto Rico's and
Puerto Rico
Guam's
and
and
Guam.
now
US
DC,
Virgin Islands.
District of Columbia has
yeah.
one. Yeah. But
It's exciting.
does their vote actually count? They actually have a delegate?
They have delegates to the National Convention, but their votes in the D.C. and Puerto Rico and their votes in the actual election in November are not counted because they have no electoral votes.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, sucks to be them.
So are these primaries and caucuses, are they run by the state government or by the parties?
I think largely they're run by the parties, but they are often enacted in legislation.
Yeah,
so
because-
kind of they're.
Because Iowa has that law about primaries, even though it's a party thing.
But I think mostly the primaries, the parties are running them.
Now we heard about, there's two big parties, the
Yes.
Democrats and Republicans. There's other parties.
There are Libertarians, Green
There's like-
Party.
There's a Green
Reform Party.
a Libertarian Party. Do they have caucuses and primaries?
Kind of. The Greens have a couple states that they have gotten enough votes in that they are allowed to have primaries. But most states they don't have sufficient. They aren't on the ballot, and most states don't recognize them as parties, so they have to pick their delegates to the conventions other ways. Libertarian Party is kind of the same. Reform Party got enough votes, I think, in '96 that they had primaries in most states in 2000 and 2004. But they have, Reform Party's gone again.
Yeah. So we've had two primaries, caucuses so far.
Yeah,
Who's won them so far?
Well, Bernie Sanders won Bernie Sanders and Hillary it's essentially tied in Iowa, the first
Right.
one. Bernie Sanders won pretty definitively the popular vote in New Hampshire. In terms of delegates, it's pretty close for various arcane reasons. Ted Cruz won Iowa.
I heard he won
Trump.
illegally, right? He illegally won.
That's, no.
And then Donald Trump won
Donald
in New
Trump
Hampshire.
definitively won in New Hampshire.
I'm being told we're running out of time.
Yeah,
But,
that's my guess.
so,
Full credits.
what state is next?
Nevada, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Same day.
And what's a Super Tuesday?
That's the name for a whole bunch of southern states all hold the primary on the same day
Okay.
because they wanted to get more influence.
Okay. And when are the primaries over? When's all this going to end?
November, first Tuesday in November.
That's when the election happens.
Yeah, that's
but
when it
they
ends.
should have picked a candidate by then. shouldn't
Well, that's what I would hope.
they? Okay.
I
Well,
think by July or August.
all right. Great show.